Hey, well, this is Zacchaeus with another live word of the day. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. And those who will consistently support me, I thank you. And those who support me for just got in and now started watching me, I thank you as well. If you're new, you're coming in, thank you for watching me. Thank you for taking your time to check me out. And this is a live word of the day. Well, today I want to discuss and talk about crabs in environmentality, no unity. Now, crabs in environmentality, I'm talking about my community, the black community, where it means that we can't see anybody elevate. We can't see our own elevate. We gotta tear each other down. As black people, we gotta tear each other down and we can't see each other elevate. It's always a competition. Always like a competition. Who can get the best? Who can do it the best? It's never a unity. It's always like we're just keep dragging each other down and we can't seem to overcome each other elevating, not knowing that if one elevates, if one win, we all win. And we can't see it that way. It's always gotta be like I gotta tear you down. And but yet some of us are doing our best to help our community out. But if you see more than one person helping each other, helping people out in a community, like let's say for example, with a business that can help other people out, we gotta find something wrong with it and tear it down. We cannot support. We can never support it in numbers. That's not all black people. That's some of us. That's not all. But there's a great deal of us. There's a lot of us. This is why, according to the sources, we are 4% of when it comes to building wealth. We're 4%, and when it comes to being consumers, we spend trillions of dollars on being a consumer, being consumers, trillions of dollars, and we focus on the wrong things. We focus on things that can't appreciate, but we focus on things that depreciate. In other words, you want to buy that Louis Vuitton, you want to buy that, you want to make the 1% more rich, but yet we're not putting back in our community. When we see a black man or black woman put a business out in the community, we don't support. And I cannot say that for all black people. I gotta say that for some. I gotta say for some because in the Caribbean, if you go to the Caribbean shops in Brooklyn, we come out in numbers and we support each other as far as the food business is concerned. But one thing I gotta address, even with these social media platforms, guess who owns the social media platforms? Now, none of us. All these platforms that get on to tear each other down, we don't own one social media platform. Not one. Not one. It's the 1% that owns them. But if one of us come up with a social media platform, we gotta support. We gotta support. We gotta support. And I want to say this too. Big up. Enough respect to Ice Cube for the Big Tree League. And we gotta support that. Let's support the Big Tree League created by Ice Cube. Let's do that. Because the biggest league is not owned by us. We all know that we don't own the NBA. We play for the NBA. Not if it doesn't play for the NFL and the NBA, but we don't own anything in the NBA. Some of us are head coaches in the NBA. But we don't own the leagues. And if you do it, it's a very fickle business. If you do anything fickle, they pull your card. And it's sad because our ancestors are turning in their grave. They're just looking at us tear each other down, What are we shooting and killing each other? What are we bringing drugs to each other? We just killing each other, tearing each other down. And I have to say, it all started after the civil rights. Is it fair for me to say after during the dismantle of the Black Panthers, like basically during the 1980s, I will say 70s, 80s, late 60s, late after the dismantlement of the Black Panther Party, it's like we lost that element of family, element of assembling together to stand in unity. You see how in 1964 or 1960, was it 1964? Let me get my math straight. It was 1960 when the bus boycott, when Dr. King, no, my mistake. I think it was 1955. How we came together in unity, support of the bus boycott, Rosa Parks. So I'm going way back. Okay, see how we stand together in unity. In 1964, when Dr. King desegregated the South, see how we stand together in unity. It was a unity, and how we got together and we did the freedom ride bus. It was a unity. Now, and going on from the 1980s and on, late 70s going into the 1980s, we lost that element of uniting. We lost that element of just banding together. And as you can see, when we band together, you see during the 1960s how other race of people, other peoples get together with us and say, okay, yeah, we see how these Black people get together. Let's get together and let's fight. Let's fight for civil rights. Let's fight for civil rights. And we did that. But now, you're going on to the course of the late 70s, going into the 80s, we allowed drugs to sink into our communities. Drugs sink into our communities, and we allowed it to destroy us. We allow other people to come into our communities, and with the guns and the drugs, and it destroyed us, and we allowed it. So it's not much that it's no longer the KKK showing up at your doorstep. It's no longer the J. Edgar Hoover, dismantling you and wiretapping you. Is now we destroying us. We're tearing each other down by destroying ourselves. And it's not all of us, but a lot of us. We just consistently tear each other down. It should be like this, where we can get together in a household and see how certain people live, where they can, if one don't make it, we don't make it until we all make it. We don't make it until we all make it. And that's how it should be in our community. But when you don't know yourself, and when we lost our culture, and now and we look at that and we say, okay, we lost the culture. Black people in this country, they lost the element, they lost the culture due to slavery and things like that. But we are still to critique and blame for that. Why? Because we're $1 trillion spending. We're the biggest consumers, and we spend $1 trillion on the 1%. We don't even support our own businesses. We spend trillions of dollars on Louis Vuitton and things that don't, and we spend millions of dollars on Chanel bags and trillions, my bad, trillions. But yet we spend trillions of dollars, but yet we don't think about Well, what am I going to build for my kids? What an inheritance. Only someone waking up and say, you know what? I got to put away something for my children. I got to leave an inheritance for my children. I can't worry about the here and now. I got to think about the future. I can't worry about the here and now. I got to think about what am I building for my next generation? What am I building? What am I contributing to my next lineage? And that's how we got to think. And we do a great job of tearing each other down. Crabs in the barrel mentality. No unity. And we got to stop that. They don't, and the other folks, they ain't got to worry about us. They ain't got to worry about we're doing a great job of tearing each other down. We don't got to worry about, they ain't got to worry about doing much. Just give us a little bone, a little few dollars, and they just watch and sit back and laugh. And watch us tear each other down. It's entertaining. And all this competition is not going to get us anywhere. It's not going to get us anywhere. It's not going to get us anywhere. If we don't come together and we get, and be honest with you, I'm going to bring this up too. Yes, I'm going to bring it. I cannot forget. I'm going to bring this up too. I hear people say reparation. We ain't getting no reparations. No reparation is being handed out. We're never going to get, that's not going to be given to us. They feel that they don't want anything. And you see, and no reparation, no 40 acres and a mule, no reparation. Although we built this country, no reparation, no 40 acres and a mule, no reparation. They rather blow up the country than they give us reparation. So don't hold your breath. Stop depending on the government to give you anything. It's not going to happen. We got to go out there and get it ourselves. We got to build wealth for ourselves. We got to unite for ourselves. They're not going to give it to us. So we got to stop thinking like that the government owe us. They're not going to give us to us. Yeah, they may owe us. But you know what? Let's say, for example, they give it to you. You know what people do? Just like the PPP loans. You know what they'll do? Splurge it on spending and things frivolous things, foolish things that depreciate, things that cannot bring you income, things that you lose, you just spend it on just liabilities. That's all you spend the money on. If we would have got that. But it's wishful thinking. We're not going to get that. That's a fact. They're not going to give black people no reparation. It's not going to happen. That's a fact. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Hell freeze is over. We're not going to get that. We got to go out there and we got to build a unity and build a community, a striving community. And I know sometimes you say, okay, remember the history of Tulsa, Oklahoma? Yes, I remember that. Of course, I don't remember it. I was not living around. I was not born around that time, but I remember the story of Tulsa, Oklahoma. How it was bombed and destroyed by racist white mobs back then. Yeah. But that shouldn't stop us. Our ancestry fought and shed blood for us to continue the legacy of uniting and continue the legacy of family and continue the legacy of building for each other. We should not dwell on the past. You can remember the past, but we shouldn't dwell on it. We should unite and build unity and support each other's businesses and endeavors. We have to support each other, and we got to start doing it now. We're already 4% of wealth. We owe like 4% of the wealth in this country. Just 4. Just 4%. That's much. That's nothing. It's nothing. And we're the biggest consumers, $1 trillion consumers. You know what we can do with that $1 trillion? We can build up our communities, and we can build up businesses for each other, for our children's children. That's what we can do in our community. Instead of going on social media and tearing each other down, or going on all these social media platforms that none of us own. Not one black person. None of us own these social media platforms, and we go in and using the vehicle. They say, okay, they'll create social media platforms. We just go in there and just badmouth each other every chance we get. We got to do better, folks. We got to do better as a people. We got to do better. We got to get rid of the crab in the barrel mentality. We gotta get together in unity, because there's no unity. It's always competition. We gotta get out of the crabs in the barrel mentality. It's no good for us. It didn't do us good back then, and it's certainly not doing no good for us now. Can't see a black woman elevate. You can't see a black man elevate to want to change things and do things and help out their people and help people out. We always got to tear them down and break them down and critique. Hardest critique. But when other folks do it, we don't critique as much. We got to learn and how are we going to pass on anything to the next generation if we don't stand together in unity? And young people see that. They see that. And it's sad. Sad. It's really sad that we got to learn to lift each other up. You think when you buy those Louis Vuitton bags and those Chanel bags and all these 1% brand name, you think that they care? No. Let's support each other's businesses. Every time when a black person come up with a business, either whether it's a brick and mortar business or business online to help other people out that are struggling, let's applaud them. It's a win for us. Let's support Ice Cube and the Big Tree League. Let's support it. Let's support Tyler Perry, of course. Let's support Spike Lee. Big up to Spike Lee. Legendary Spike Lee, producer and director. Spike Lee. Let's support each other. Let's support each other. Lee Daniels. Let's support each other. Let's show support to each other. Magic Johnson, who is opening up businesses to help other people out, our black folks out, giving them jobs. Malik Yoba, who's also opened businesses to help our folks out, to the actors. Malik Yoba. Let's support each other instead of tearing each other down. Coach Prime. Let's support Coach Prime, doing a great job. College coach, Coach Prime. Support. Enough support. Deion Sanders, that's right. Enough support. Let's support each other. Let's lift each other up. Let's embrace each other. Because their win is our win. Let's embrace each other. We have to. We should not be 4%. With all that money, as consumers, we're spending so much money in brand names, and that's all you're worried about is the here and now, we should not be at the 4%. Trillions of dollars, and we're still at 4%. We're biggest consumers out there ever. Black folks will line up around the block, around the block, to see a play, around the block, to see performers, around the block, to see their favorite. Nothing wrong with supporting your favorite artist, but let's prioritize. If you know that you don't have nothing to leave for your kids, let's focus on that. We should not be shellacking and relaxing at all times. We should be building assets and investing in assets so we can leave it for our children's children. We should not be spending most of the time being entertained, spending most of 90% of the time being entertained, 90% of the time just kicking it. I'm just chilling, just kicking it. What's up, man? Same old, same old. Nothing changed but the weather. No, we should be going online, discovering and researching what is our next venture. If I don't want to stay at my job for the next, if I've been at my job for 20 years and I don't want to stay for the next 20 years, we should be looking into things to invest in. What can I invest in to help my child or my children? What can I invest in for the next generation? Let's support each other's businesses. And let's get rid of the crab in a barrel mentality. And let's get together in unity. And it's a shame. Trillions of dollars as consumers and only 4% wealth in this country. It's a shame. But yet, sweat and blood, tears and sweat, black people build this country. Years ago, I went to a museum, the Black Wax Museum in Baltimore, Maryland. And I was enjoying the wax museum. But I was looking at a lot. Looking at Toussaint Louverture. I was looking at Jacques Dessalines. I was looking at a lot of historical black figures. Just admiring them. But you know what? The very last sculpture I seen, wax statues I seen. When I went with my wife back then, it was back in we didn't have kids back then. That's right. 2003. Kids are kind of young. 2003. And the very last feature in that museum, the Wax Museum, the Black African American Wax Museum, last feature, they're showing us a black wax young man with a long needle in his arm, drug in his arm. They showed the blood, red and blue, that representing the Bloods and Crips killing each other. They showed one black man in prison. That all we fought for and we strive for. And at the end of that wax museum, that was portrayed and that was seen. And this is where we are. When the crack pandemic came out, it was they brought crack, but it was up to us to push it out. We allowed it to come in and destroy us. 1986. Guns destroying us. We got to learn how to support each other. Businesses, whether it's food, whether it's art, whether it's any industry or whether it's finances. We got to support each other and build together. And let's stop that crab in the barrels mentality, and let's stand in unity. Well, the live word of the day is 1 Peter chapter 3, verses 8. Finally, all of you have unity of mind, sympathy, brotherly love, a tender heart, and a humble mind. Well, this is Zacchaeus coming to you with another live word of the day. God bless. And if you like what I shared, smash that like button for me. Also, subscribe to my channel, Zacchaeus Gospel. Peace and blessings, and thank you for tuning in. God bless, and be safe out there. Peace and blessings.